continuing on with some of the stuff that we talked about yesterday, where I had some fun with my dog and talked about the principle and nature of first do nothing. And I just did the drop, but the drop down into the center, which I call the first do nothing. Hi Sarah, how are you? And today I want to deepen our understanding of the importance of this concept. I don't have my dog or my horse today. Sorry, so I'm just gonna have to be as exciting as them. And I want to bring this concept further into the human life and our movement through life and what it does for us and why it's important to understand it in the animals. And then as we're trying to reconnect with the animal part of our nature. So just to recap a tiny bit, yesterday I was talking about how both predator and prey, their first response to any stimulus, to any increase in energy, to anything that caused them to become aware of the stuff around them, is the first do nothing. The drop into the center, the collection, maybe for a split second, maybe for a long time before taking an action, the right action, or deciding that no action is necessary. So yesterday we understood that happens, and it was cool, and we talked about, how wouldn't life be different if you did that? But the question is, why? What purpose is it serving? What is it doing for us? It goes beyond. The humans connect with it immediately because we go, oh, I have a moment to think about it, right? But that's not what the animal's doing. They're not thinking about it. They're energetically assessing the situation. And that energetic assessment is the emotional, physical combination of what's going on and what do I need to do about it. So there is no separating physical from emotional. They are one and the same. If your balance is challenged physically, you will feel emotionally challenged. And if you're emotionally having trouble, your physical balance will not be good. There is no separating those two. They are fully intertwined. The purpose of emotions, the reason for having emotions, energy in motion, is to produce movement. It is to drive you towards the things that are good for life and away from things that are bad for life. Notice I say good for life and bad for life, not towards pleasure and away from pain. That's a misconception. Because we will take a lot of pain if it gets us something good for our life in the end. But it causes us to move towards good for life and away from bad for life. So the reason for emotion is to cause motion. The reason for our brain is to cause motion. So the reason for both our brain and our heart/gut, those kind of combine into emotion, is to cause motion. So they are totally, intimately, intricately tied together. So when the animal's first response to a stimulus is hi little one, Sarah just said hi little one. My daughter is being shown in the background here. When the animal's first response is to drop into collection and drop into their center, what they're really doing is enabling themselves, giving themselves the best possible opportunity to engage with the obstacle. They're what we want to do is incorporate the obstacle into our movement through life. An obstacle can be a physical obstacle, but it can also be an emotional obstacle, a mental obstacle. You know, it could be a challenge in life, it could be a situation in life, it could be a friend, it could be a stairway, it could be a mountain. Oh my goodness. I just had a message that said phone storage full, and I hope that's not going to affect my video. So the collection enables you to encounter that better. I'm going to show you an example. I'll show you an example first, and then I'll talk about movement. And I hope my phone is still functioning after that message. On my farm, I have a lot of, you can see a little tiny white line. It's barely visible, but it's there. And this is mobile fencing that I have all around my farm because I move the cows and the horse every day to fresh pasture. But I have lanes made out of it, and I have a lot of pasture dividers made out of it. So I walk over this fence every day. But when people come to my farm, and I kind of forget about this, and I'm walking along and I just pop over the fence and go, they get to the fence, and usually the response is something like, they get discombobulated and they're not sure what to do. And it's electric fence too, so that doesn't help. And they're knocked off balance emotionally and physically by this fence. And so when you haven't reconnected with that animal nature of drop into your center, people really struggle to get over the fence. And so I'm going to give an example of what people typically look like when they go over the fence versus what I look like, because I'm doing it more like an animal would do it. Or an athlete, but an athlete's trained to understand their body, right? But that aside, I'm doing it more like an animal versus a human who's in their head. So I'll show you real quick. When we come to this, people are like, oh my God, electric fence, right? And they're scared of it, and usually they won't even go over it unless I turn it off. But they're gonna lose their balance, right? And go over like that. It's not on right now. But an animal says, they don't say this intellectually, they say it energetically, right? Obstacle, drop and collect, and you can just step over. Whoops. Right. Anyway, you can just step over without it. You can incorporate it into your movement and carry on with life. So it's no longer, it's not an emotional obstacle for you. This fence is not an emotional obstacle for me. It's something that I just incorporate into my movement. But what enables me to incorporate it is collection. I should define collection. I meant to do that at the beginning, but I forgot. So collection is a bending of the joints, particularly in the lower body or the hind end if you're an animal. So the hips, sorry about all the noise, wow, from all the neighbors. The hips, the knees, and the ankles, it's a soft and supple bending of those joints. That's a collecting of energy, we call it collection. But collection also has an emotional component to it. It's not, it's not sloppy, relaxed bending of the joints. It is a bending of the joints with a desire to move forward. So the purpose of it is preparation for movement. It's collection of energy. It's not just softening of the joints for no reason. It's collection of energy to move. Even though you can see only my head and shoulders, you can totally see the difference in my body when I do that. So when we're walking relaxed through life and we don't have an obstacle, hi Lori, cool to see you here. We don't have an obstacle. The way that we walk in a relaxed fashion, the most efficient way, the least use of energy, is it's a falling forward, a gentle falling forward, and catching yourself with your foot. And a gentle falling and a catch, right? That's how you walk when there's no figurative or literal obstacles that you have to incorporate into your movement through life. But it doesn't work the second that you have an obstacle, emotional or physical. It no longer works. Now we need collection. Collection is what enables you to move while staying balanced, so you're not knocked off balance, and you can incorporate it into your movement. This is the same collection we were showing yesterday with my dog. Same in humans, same in dog, right? And so you saw yesterday, she went from, I was doing videos. I've never done videos with her before. She had no idea what I was doing. I was standing there forever, ignoring her, and she's not used to this. It doesn't normally happen. So she's crying, she's pulling on the lead. She's not emotionally balanced, right? In this brand new scenario for her. And my daughter was creeping around, being weird, like trying to peek at us. But the second that I started using food like prey and got her into her automatic response, she was a grounded, centered, I know what I want and what I need to do to get it dog. Just immediate, totally changed her entire demeanor. Same thing with humans. When that becomes your automatic, your first response, then you can now encounter things in life that you could not encounter before. So this is building the deeper channel, the deeper capacity, the deeper emotional capacity to handle life. Remember, emotional and physical are the same. They're one and the same. So collection, when we, I don't want to say train ourselves, when we allow ourselves to go back to our animal way of first do nothing, the immediate response, whether it's for a split second or for a long period of time, first do nothing, gather, collect the energy, get in touch with your center to create, so you can track it, so you can move through whatever obstacles there are, emotional or physical. When we let ourselves do that, our lives become much easier, more beautiful, much better. And that is part of creating the beautiful bond with the animal. The bond requires a bond has two sides, and both sides need to be in their center to have a strong bond. It can't just be your dog, right? It has to be, or your horse. It has to be both of you have to be in your center to have that strong bond. But our horses and our dogs can lead us there by showing us all these beautiful things and being a mirror for us when we're not there. So this is the kind of thing that I work on a lot in my new program, Beautifully Bonded, where we use the dog or the horse. I'm starting with the dog, and I'm going to be incorporating the horse probably in the next round. And we develop or reconnect them with these capabilities with them while we're doing the same thing with ourselves. So we learn to see it and feel it in the animal and develop an awareness of the animal, and then bring that awareness into ourselves and grow ourselves at the same time. It's very, very beautiful. And actually at some point I'm going to have people come to my farm and just total immersion in the energetics. The energetics of butterflies, the energetics of plants. The energetics is the transfer of energy. What we're talking about when we are countering an obstacle is a transfer of energy between me and the obstacle, me and the ground, me and the dog. But how is energy moving, right? So we'll look at the energetics of butterflies and plants and cows and horses, and we'll encounter fences and go over them in a centered way. It'll all be beautiful. But you can also do this work online, which I am doing right now, and learn it from your own dog in your own home, or your own horse if you have fun. So this is a big part of what we're doing, and it really, really changes your life. I hope that explained it a lot more. You do probably need to see the video from yesterday if you haven't seen it to fully understand what I'm talking about with the dog and the dropping. But if you combine these two videos, you should get a lot out of it, and I would say go try it in your life. All right, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.